So I scaled my SMMA to around $10,500 in revenue in just under 6 months, and this is how I did it. So last year June is when I really started to try and take SMMA seriously, and I wanted to start a e-commerce marketing agency running Facebook ads like everyone else, and I spent about probably 5 months on that. I bought lists of leads, hundreds and hundreds of them. I then went through every single last one of them and color coded them by red, orange and green. So red is if they were already running profitable Facebook ads, orange is if they were running ads and they could improve them, at least where I thought they could, and then green is an e-commerce company that weren't running ads whatsoever. So I spent about 5 months doing that, and then after sending hundreds and thousands of cold emails and booking, I think, one meeting in that 5-month time frame, I decided that this wasn't the route that I was going to take, and I kind of took a back foot because I had exams and it was in my last year of school. And then I saw a video on YouTube about someone who tried to start a short form content agency. And this is like kind of the moment where everything in my head kind of clicked, because I've been editing videos since I was 9 years old, so around a decade now, and I realized that I've got good editing skills. I know how to edit really well. I just don't know why I'm not doing it. So instantly I started reaching out to people, YouTubers that I really liked, and within my first day of outreach I got someone on a call on Instagram and closed him on Instagram and got my first ever payment of $500 for 30 videos. It was actually $1,000 for 30 videos, but he paid $500 up front, and then he was going to pay the other $500 when the videos were done. And that was like the most unbelievable feeling in the world to me. Like, I'd spent so long trying to figure out a way to make money online. I tried Forex, I tried crypto, I tried drop shipping, and then eventually when I decided that I didn't want to do any of those side hustles, I'd rather spend my time building an actual business, that is when, everything sort of clicked, and this was the most surreal moment ever for me. I cried a lot because I'd put so much effort into it, and this was the proof of concept that I needed, and that gave me the motivation to keep going. So within my first day of doing outreach on Instagram, I got my first client, and he paid me in crypto. And the second day he referred me to his brother, who also made content, and the second day I got my second client. So I was making anywhere from 2 to 4 videos a day, spending countless hours doing this, because despite a video being like 30 seconds to a minute, it actually takes a lot longer than you would think to edit these videos. So I spent my days doing that while I was still at school, and in that period, I went from making $0 a month to now I was at like $2,000 a month. So I continued to do that, continued to do work for them, and then I continued to reach out to multiple people, YouTubers that I enjoyed and that I think could benefit from content. I then got my third client. We agreed on a price per video, so it wasn't a retainer or anything. I just edited videos, and then after that I would send him an invoice and he would pay it. So I was starting an agency, but I was the one doing all of the service fulfillment, which is good at the start because it teaches me the processes and teaches me how the things actually run. So after doing that for 3 months or so, I was completely burnt out and I couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't sustainable. I was working 10 plus hours per day doing outreach and editing for clients, and then I didn't have any free time. I didn't have any time to spend with friends, family. I was just waking up, working, editing, doing outreach, going to sleep, and that was my routine. So then I got in touch with a coach, and he did the exact same thing that I wanted to do, just on a much bigger scale. So he scaled his agency up to around $60,000 a month, and I just wanted to get to like 5-10K a month, and I had a call with him, and I had this realization. This is all the obvious things that you do, but I had this realization that I need to hire someone to do these videos, and then I just manage everything else from the posting to the quality control of the videos. So early January or January or February is when I started going really heavy on outreach and building out the SOPs within my business to be able to maintain and manage a lot more clients than I could handle by myself. So this is when I started to hire editors. This is when I started to offer more services like YouTube. And in the period from February to June is when I really scaled up and went from, making $1,000 to $2,000 a month to hitting my first $10,500 around there dollars in revenue. And the way that I did that was by contacting people on Upwork. Okay, so my I don't want to say mentor, but my coach, gave me a bunch of options, and I eventually found someone on YouTube who was getting all of their clients from Upwork, because this is where people are going to look for these services. And I actually scaled from, zero, I don't want to say zero, but I scaled up to around 6K, 7K a month, all from Upwork. So I got my first big client from there, and then I got my second clients from there, and then my third client that I got, which is a very big supplement company, actually came from a referral from one of those clients. So in the space of 4 or 5 months, I went from 2 to 6K a month, and by then I had a full team, and I still have that team today. So I've got a social media manager, we have a YouTube editor, we have a short form editor, graphic designer, and everything goes smoothly. So in the span of about 4 or 5 months, I went from working 10 plus hours today, being actually a freelancer instead of an agency owner, to owning a real business that's generating pretty decent sized money for someone my age especially. So if you are trying to scale an agency, I would recommend going to these places where clients are actually looking for their service. You're not going and reaching out to cold leads where people aren't even looking for you, they don't know who you are. I'd recommend going to like Fiverr and Upwork, creating an account on these platforms, because the people that are looking, there's people actively looking for the service that you provide, and they are willing to pay absolutely insane amounts of money for it. Okay, so why would you spend 3 months doing cold outreach when you can go onto these platforms and use them as like a starter to get your first results, get your first couple of clients, just get money rolling in through the door so you have a proof of concept, and then use that money and that motivation that you gain in order to start using different client methods like running paid ads or email automations or having appointment setters, stuff like that. It just takes the first couple of steps and the first 2-3 clients for you to really realize that this is possible and that anybody can do it, as long as they make the mental shift from, oh okay, I'm just gonna half-ass this, instead of just going and doing it absolutely balls to the wall and being able to get results within 1 to 2 months. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna scale to from 0 to 10, 20, 30K a month, because it's very unlikely that you do. But I'm saying if you want to start an agency, the best way for you to do it is by going to these places that have warm clients on them and people that are actively looking for your service. It may not be the best, highest ticket paying clients, but it's a foot in the door. If you have no previous results, no previous clients, no previous experience, this is a great way to just get started, get your first couple of clients, and then you can start doing cold outreach when you actually have something of value to provide. And speaking of that supplement company that I did close as a client, you can go and check out the video of the call of me closing them, and then I'll even pop up a screenshot in that video of the final payment. So it was actually a $9,000 deal, $3,000 a month for a 3-month minimum, and we actually surpassed that, and we continuing to work together because we do filming sessions with their authority figure, and we help them produce quality content for them to use as ads, and also just for their organic social media, so that they can have a bit more of a social media presence. And the number one lesson that allowed me to get to this point of making decent money at my age, and I'm by no means am I claiming that I'm an expert at this. I'm not some SMMA guru. I'm not someone who can claim to be an expert, because I'm not. I'm still a beginner. I'm still learning, but I definitely have more experience than someone who's never done this before. And in my opinion, someone who is one step ahead of you is 100% qualified to coach you or to train you on what to do. And especially me at this point, I could have gotten to the point where I am now so much faster if I had the knowledge that I had now. So I'm not claiming I'm an expert, but I am just saying that the number one thing that allowed me to get to this point is, you know, getting rid of those limiting beliefs. And I know how cheesy and corny that sounds, but it's really true. You know, I thought that if I was making like $2,000 a month, then I would be good. I'd be like the king of the world. I can travel. I'd be able to live on my own. I can do whatever I need. And, you know, once you start earning money and you actually move out into your own place and you have to start paying for, you know, petrol and food and rent, you start realizing that, you know, making good money isn't actually as much as you thought it was. Especially when it comes into paying tax, you know, that cuts out like 20, 30, 40% of your income instantly. So I want you to get over those limiting beliefs about money. I want you to stop thinking that $10,000 a month is a lot of money, because in this day and age, especially with inflation and the rising costs of just living in general, it's absolutely nothing. Okay, and you know, it includes myself, I and everybody else should be striving to hit, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, even $100,000 a month, because for the life that I want to live, you know, it will require that that amount of money. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna get there anytime soon, but I'm definitely closer to getting there than most people. And the fact that I am surrounded by people that are making that kind of money gives me an instant advantage, because to me $10,000 a month it's good money, but it's not the be all end all. Okay, so you'll realize once you reach that threshold that it's not that much, and you actually find yourself wanting to go for more and go for better and bigger things. But that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because you realize that, you know, these goals that you set out for yourself are actually achievable, but then it always leaves you wanting more, at least in my case. So thank you so much for watching this video. That is the story of how I went from, you know, practically zero to $10,500 a month in revenue and about 50 to 60% profit margins, you know, before tax and costs and expenses and living and all of that stuff. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.